and Akota Mining over suspected financial crimes. GJA renews call for state of emergency in Galamsey zones. Also coming up, the Ghana Armed Forces vows to crack down on armed elements in Boko. And on the international front, hundreds of thousands of people are expected to attend Pope Francis's funeral on Saturday in St. Peter's Square. This bulletin is live on our Facebook at Radio XYZ 93.1. Stay tuned for details and more. Now the details, and President John Dramani Mahama will later this morning join ministers and senior government officials of the Executive Leadership Program at Ada in the Greater Accra region. The 4-day program aids to equip participating senior political leaders and public officials with skills, knowledge and mindset necessary to effectively lead in the emerging world. The program will focus on nurturing key leadership competencies, facilitating deep reflection and raising awareness of critical issues for leadership. My colleague Wisdom Hede Jome joins me on the line from Ada. Hello, Wisdom. If you can hear me, what can you report from Ada?
Yeah, so currently this is the day one, so the opening session of the 2025 Ministerial Executive Leadership Retreat. Now, this is a tripartite program which is being held here at Ada. Now, what it means is that the government is holding its retreat. Aside from that, the UNDP is also having it. And then there's what we call the cabinet retreat as well. So all of these three programs have been merged to form the 2025 Ministerial Executive Leadership Retreat here. But it's going to be a 4-day program, which will mean that the participants who are basically ministers and deputy ministers and senior government officials, the appointees of the current administration and members of academia are here to deliberate on best ways to turn the fortunes of the economy around. Right. Now, Cabinet Secretary Professor Dan Soboafo in his address indicated that the program is basically to ensure that the new government that has come would be able to turn things around, looking at the global deficiencies that's happening in terms of the economy, in terms of policy, in terms of politics, and all the other sectors of the economy. It is important that they meet here to deliberate on issues that matter to the heart of the economy, just so they'll be able to bring out recommendations that, when fully implemented, will be in the best interest of the country. So the president has just arrived. We expect that the president will make his remarks and then launch the retreat, and then the other programs will continue.
All right.
But then let me also add that the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, is here, as well as His Excellency Professor Mohammed Ibn Chambers is here, as well as some other senior officials from UNDP and the UN.
All right. Thank you very much with that report from Ada Wisdom. Okay, and that was my colleague Wisdom Hede Jome, who joined us live from Ada. Now to some other stories, and the financial linked to Bernard Entry widely known as Chairman Wuntumi, along with his mining company Akonta Mining, due to allegations of financial irregularities. Sources at the FIC indicate to restrict access to accounts when there is reasonable suspicion of illicit financial activities. In a formal directive sent to financial institutions, the FIC instructed that all transactions involving Chairman Wuntumi Akonta Mining and Hallmark Civil Engineering Limited be immediately suspended pending further directive. This action is part of a larger investigation into suspected money laundering and related financial misconduct. Also, the Financial Intelligence Center of Ghana has formally requested detailed financial records from Magdan Group of part of an ongoing money laundering investigations as well. A letter dated April 22, 2025 and marked confidential was sent to the managing director of Magdan Group. It outlines that the FIC, acting under the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, Act 1044, has received intelligence suggesting the company made and received large sums of money to and from armed forces, has reiterated its unwavering commitment to save
of protecting lives and properties. We will not relent in our efforts to create an environment conducive to peace and security. Let me, however, serve a word of caution to all, especially those fomenting the trouble in Boku, that their days are getting numbered. Any attack on innocent civilians or any military personnel will be considered as an act of extremism and will be met with the deliberate full strength and resolve of our forces. There will be no safe haven for those who choose the path of violence. We will pursue every individual involved and justice will be served.
Major General Lawrence Kweku Betano is the Chief of Army Staff. Now to some other stories, and the Ghana Journalists Association has renewed calls for a state of emergency in areas where illegal mining is ongoing. The GJA stated that although major steps have been taken to address the issue, including the arrest of some perpetrators and the revocation of licenses for certain mining firms allegedly operating illegally, a state of emergency and the repeal of LI 2462 will help save the country's forest and river bodies. Addressing a press conference in Accra, the president of GJA, Albert Jumfo, appealed to the government to do everything in its power to end illegal mining.
There is no institution, I dare say, that has stayed the fight against Galamsey more than the media. The GJA has instituted an award category on the subject matter for many